Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing this evening? There's some stormy weather out there around the country. Hope everyone's safe. I know Ed had a big storm, I guess. Probably was trembling in his basement. I doubt Ed trembles much. Hey, George. Good evening, Mike and Moto, and thanks you for coming. Still hiding into the stairwell. We're under a tornado watch here all evening, so expecting some nastiness to come around. We'll see. So far, um, nothing yet. So I want to thank everyone for coming tonight, and I see we still have a few people logging in, but I just wanted to ask a quick question. How many folks are here? I know we have a lot of members here. This is our normal e-learning evening, but we opened the door for everyone tonight. How many are here for the very first time? Never been to a Hit Run Candlesticks Right Way Options webinar. Is there anyone here that's never been here? Just wanted to say, Sarah, Mike, welcome. RV, FP, Rick, second time. All right. No longer a newbie. NB, all right, great. Well, welcome. Mr. Kennedy, welcome. Okay, well, thank you guys for coming tonight. I really do appreciate it. And to you new folks, we do this every week. We provide probably more actual mic time to our membership than any service I know. Um, Hit and Run Candlesticks is an online trading room, and that room is moderated by Rick, and actually there's four of us that kind of moderate from time to time. But Rick is the founder, the owner of Hit and Run Candlesticks, and he moderates the trading room most of the time. Now that's open basically 24/7. There are very rare times when we actually have to shut down the room for maintenance purposes or clean something up, but it's open pretty much all the time. But it's only really active, it starts getting pretty active at around 5 a.m. Um Central Time. That would be 6 a.m. Eastern Time, and really starts getting active about then, and just builds all through the open, and then we're busy clear up through the close in that room. Right Way Options, you're actually in the Right Way Options room, and Right Way Options does live training every single day, and we do that training at 11 a.m. Eastern Time to 1 p.m. Eastern Time every single day. And then we have these special e-learning sessions and webinars all the time. So we do a lot of things, and we're constantly working to help other traders be better traders. Now, Rick and I, Ed, Steve, are the moderators here. Um, we're all full-time traders, and we really have a passion for helping other traders trade more professionally, to be more successful in trading. And tonight, I actually have a friend here in the room, a local friend. His name is Mike Peterson. You'll see him in the list of access. I'm going to make him famous tonight. I'm going to talk a little bit about him. But actually, he is the inspiration for this conversation tonight. And I wanted to share a little bit about what's helping him be consistent in his trading and building that consistency. So, Mike, I guess margaritas and Mexican food is. We actually have a meeting for his monthly review Thursday night, and I guess they're on me, Mike. So let's kick this off. And what I want to talk about is building consistency in your trading, and it's a simple concept when you think about it. Mike's okay with me buying, all right. It's a simple concept when you think about it, working for consistency, but the application is always a lot more difficult than everyone expects, and particularly in trading. Would anyone guess what is your biggest challenge? If you were to, as a trading coach, and I know Rick sees this, Ed sees this all the time, as when you measure up all of your trading, what do you think is your biggest hindrance to your success in trading? Emotions. Mike, that's really close. What I was actually going to drive at is you, us, we as human beings are our biggest obstacle to success in trading. And because we have all of those things you guys are mentioning, fear, impatience, knowing when to exit, knowing when to enter, staying out of your own way. Those are all human conditions that we all suffer from. So we ourselves are our biggest enemy to success in trading. When you think about trading itself, the actual act of trading is simple. And I try to make it even much easier to understand, because not the only stocks I want to trade, and you can, if you're new here, you can ask one of the members, they'll verify this. I want a stock that's proving it wants to go up. I am really picky about the trades I take. Okay? And if you find a stock that's proving it wants to go up, guess what? Your win-loss ratio gets better. And we're going to talk about that kind of stuff just a little bit tonight, but I want to start off with just a couple of thoughts. Now, this is showing some of my age, and I'm sure some of you in here remember Harry Kissinger. But Harry Kissinger quote, if you don't know where you're going, every road, and I think I left a word out here, every road will get you nowhere. Every road will get you nowhere if you don't know where you're going. And that's something I talk about quite often, is you have to have a plan. Ed talks about it all the time with Trader Vision, and this isn't to talk about Trader Vision or really sell Trader Vision, but having a plan, having a process for your trading is extremely important. And if you want to get to consistency, this is where you have to go. You have to have a plan. Okay? You have to do it. Now, I know a lot of people think, well, I've only got an $8,000 account. Surely he's not talking about me. Okay? Well, I am. As a matter of fact, I'm talking more about you than the person that has $1 million in their account. And the reason is, the person with $1 million in their account, they can absorb losses. They can have a lot more issues trading wise and still turn out pretty well. But the person with that small account, and it's okay to have a small account. Everybody starts somewhere. There's no shame in that. But what we have to do is we have to work to build consistency in our trading. And so having a plan is really of utmost importance to the small trader, because you have very little wiggle room. You have to be on top of your game every time. Mistakes are something you cannot afford as a small trader. Okay? So you have to have a plan. And I say this quite often, and the members have heard this about 100,000 times, but when it comes to working in the market is essentially a zero-sum game. There's always one winner and there's a loser on every side of every trade. Now, if we're going into the market and we're competing with the best of the best, you know, those folks that went through college and had all of the best education in the market from Goldman Sachs and all these places, and we're competing with them every day. Trust me, they have a plan. And why would we think that we could just wing it and do okay in the market? We can't. Okay, I will solve that problem for you right now. As a matter of fact, for those of you who are struggling, you know, just type a Y in here if you'll type if you want to admit that you're struggling as a trader, and that's okay. It's a good thing to admit. But if you're struggling as a trader, haven't you proved already what's not working? Haven't you already proved that chasing everything around, following a whole bunch of indicators, watching the news every day, doing all of these things that you think are absolutely important, haven't you proven that they don't work? So we have to have a different focus, right? We have to come to a different place, and we have to have a willingness as a trader to admit that things aren't working. And when things aren't working, we have to change. And the first step in a change is you got to have a plan. You got to know where you're going. Okay? Every business is required to have a plan. You walk into any bank, they're going to require you to have a plan. You must have a plan how you're going to go from point A to point B. Okay, and we're going to talk about that here for a second. There's a lady that she was a professor at Vassar. She was in economics. Mabel Newcomer was her name. And this was a quote from her. It said, "It's more important to know where you're going than to get there quickly." So many of us as traders, we want to rush, right? We're always in a hurry. We want to get faster speeds, faster charts, intraday stuff. We're trying to be quick. Hurry, hurry, hurry. I got to get to the money right now. Okay? And we're always rushing. But look what she said. She wrote this back in like 1917 or something like that. It's more important to know where you are going than to get there quickly. You have to have a plan. And something that I run into all of the time. How many of you would say that during the trading day, you're so busy, you're rushing around, you're doing lots of things, and at the end of the trading day, you're just absolutely wiped out. Your emotions are wrung out, you're spent, you're tired, you just can't hardly move, and you realize all you've really done is sit there all day. Anybody there? I mean, that used to happen to me all the time. I would get up from my computer at the end of the day, and I was absolutely exhausted. Emotionally, physically, everything else. I was wiped out from all of that rushing, all of that intensity, all of that emotion. Okay? Then the second sentence in her statement here, I think, is really important to every single person in here. Don't mistake activity for achievement. When I talk to folks and work with them as a trader, they will sometimes go through a litany of things. Well, I check this and I do this and I go over here and I check this and I do this and I'm always monitoring a daily chart, an hourly chart, a 15-minute chart, a 5-minute chart, and they're rushing around and they're thinking that activity equals achievement, and it does not. We as traders, as business owners, and let's be very clear, trading is a business. As business owners, we have to be accountable to our efficiency at work. Okay? And activity does not equal achievement. Okay? We have to have a plan and a plan of action every single day, a schedule of work. Things that we have to do to accomplish what we're here to do, and that's make money, right? Okay, so let's talk about making money here. And there's that old saying out there that if you plan, or if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Okay, and that really goes for any business, any section of the economy, whatever it is that you do. If you want to get success, oh, of course, there's always somebody out there that lucks into success. You hear about somebody that walks in and buys a single lottery ticket and wins, okay? That happens once in a while, but it's extremely rare. Your chances of being struck by lightning would be far greater. Okay? Would be far greater. So, how are we going to get to the point of making some money? What are we going to do? Well, the first thing we have to do is we need to have a goal. Let's talk about making money. Now, there's impatience right there, right? Just get to the place where I can make some money. We don't want to work on the details. Just get to the place where I can make some money. I'm not trying to pick on you, but I hear those kind of things all the time. Hurry up, just get me to the point where I can make money. That's not the way trading works. Okay? The first part is going through the boring stuff. The real important stuff about trading, pulling the trigger on the trade is easy. Finding a chart that's going up is easy. But if you don't have a plan in place on how you're going to deal with that, you're always going to be behind the eight ball. You're always going to be struggling as a trader. Okay? So we've got to get through this point here that your first step is getting to a goal. Now, what is your goal? And I say this, I do a couple classes every year on building a trading plan. And one of the things I talk about is how are you going to what's your roadmap? How are you going to get from point A to point B? I ask traders this all the time. What's your goal here? And you know what the number one answer is? Make money. Okay, that's not a goal. That's a dream. It may be a fantasy, but that is not a goal. To just say I want to make money is like throwing something up against the wall and hoping some of it sticks. We can't do that as a trader. Make more money. Oh, I like that saying, Dave. Sharpen the saw before trying to cut down a tree. So what we have to do is we have to build a roadmap. We have to figure out how are we going to go from A to B. Now, if we don't even know what B is, remember that quote from Henry Kissinger, Henry Kissinger. Any road will take you nowhere if you don't know where you're going. So we need to have a plan. Where are we going to go? Yep, Ed's number right there. We're going to talk kind of a little bit about that. We're not going to get into all of the detail, but specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-based. Yes, all of those things are important to your goal. You have to have a roadmap. How are you going to go from point A to point B? So one of the things I talk about quite often is when I'm working out a goal or helping people think about a goal, and I'm not suggesting what I wrote down here is right for you, okay? But think about this for a second. You have a $20,000 account, all right? And you have a goal. You think about it, you dwell on it, and you say, you know, if I could achieve a 20% return a year, that would be fantastic. How many in here would be absolutely ecstatic for a 20% return a year? Do you know that even the best money managers in the world can't do that consistently? It's very, very difficult to do that consistent. 22% would be great. There's always one person that once you give them an inch, they just want a little bit more. This applies to options or stocks, Eve. Options, or it doesn't matter. If you want to build consistency, it's all the same. Okay? So, what we want to do, Rick has a dream. Hey, that's great. You know, and 22% might be your number, okay? But you also need to think about it realistically, all right? Can you achieve it? I'll ask people that, and they say, well, all I need is $3,500 a month. Okay. What size of account do you have? Well, I've got $10,000. Okay, now let's get real here. That's a fantasy. Nobody does that on a consistent basis. Okay? 100% trading options, that's no problem. If you want to be all options all the time, I trade a lot of options. Okay? Madoff. So what we want to do is we want to build that plan. Now, would everyone agree? So we've talked 20% is pretty good. Now, for some people, they may look at that and say, I couldn't even envision right now coming anywhere close to 20%. I've never made even close to 5% a year in my trading. How can I reach for each 20? That's okay. If you see 10 or 15% as the number, great. But don't set that goal so high that you have no chance of achieving it. You know, Ed put it in there: measurable, achievable, realistic. Those are the kind of things you want to think about when you're setting a goal, okay? To reach that consistency. Okay, so that's $4,000. That would equal success then. If we want 20% a year, that would equal success. So your monthly goal, divide that by 12, you need to make $333.33. Hey, round that up to 350. Round it up to, 335. Whatever it is you want to do. But did anyone think about how much that really was to make a 20% return on a $20,000 account? Does anyone here think that it's overwhelming to try and make a $333 profit in 1 month with $20,000? Is that overwhelming? Oh, no. No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about setting a goal and working to achieve a goal. I'm not talking about you just reach out there and get your 4,000 and you stop trading. Heck no. If you can achieve better, what we do is we continuously adjust. If you're reaching your goals, now you can stretch yourself a little bit more. But my point is, there's so many people that have never achieved a consistent success. They yo-yo trade. I was a yo-yo trader. Okay? I would yo-yo up and down. I would have spurts of success, and then I'd give it all back. And then some more. Okay? And then I'd have another spurt of success, and everything was looking good, and then I'd give it all back, and then some more. That's yo-yo trading. And I would, if I were to put a pin in the number of people that fit that category, retail traders, it's probably over 90% of the people are in that category of yo-yo trading. Okay? So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to pick on Mike here a little bit about this. But how hard would it be to find a few trades to make $333 a month? The point I'm driving at here is it shouldn't be that overwhelming, right? We shouldn't have to be rushing around. We shouldn't have to be chasing everything that's popping up today, watching the news, following Kramer, doing all of this other gyrations that we do, trying to follow 40 different indicators. That is a waste of time. It's not efficient. We are business people. We need to be efficient in our business. Okay? So we don't need that many trades. But what we do need is we need quality trades over quantity. For some reason, we as traders get lost in this idea that we need to be searching out or grabbing every trade that comes along. We're always in a race. How many of you would admit that you have spent days, probably weeks or months of your trading life doing nothing more than trying to find the perfect set of indicators or write the perfect scan? Anyone admit to that? You have wasted so much time, years doing that. And what have you found, Mike? I can tell you what I found. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing. Okay? There's no such thing as a perfect combination. Because the market is always changing. It's always evolving. It's always different. Okay? So what we need to do as traders is we need to figure out how to be efficient. And Gary's mentioning something important. You've got to find your niche. You know, he's trading futures. Awesome. Awesome. You have to find your niche. I can successfully futures trade. I did it for a long time. I like it in the sense that it's quick and it's, tax-wise and everything, it's easy. But here's the thing, I hated it. I hated it because I couldn't get up and walk away. I didn't become a trader to strap myself to a computer all day. I became a trader for the lifestyle. Okay? I wanted to be able to go do things. And I didn't get, so day trading just didn't work for me. I can do it. I've done it live in front of the room, but I don't enjoy it. Okay, so I had to find something that I want to do. For me, that's swing trading. So everyone has to find their own niche, the place that you want to be. All right, and work to build that consistency within that niche. Now, one of the things that Rick talks about, I talk about, I think Ed talks about this a lot, is stop chasing stocks that are popping. Stop racing around trying to chase the flavor of the day. Because how many of you ever done that? You're just not fast enough, right? You're chasing around, you're hurrying. How many of you have ever said, well, gosh, I looked at that stock this morning, but now it's moved too far for me to trade it? Too much risk in it now. Because we're always chasing. Yeah, the move is over by the time you find it. That's exactly right. Or the time you get to it. Because we're always racing around. Well, the way I solve that problem, what Rick does, and what I've been teaching for quite some time here, is to work from a qualified watch list. Now, what's a qualified watch list? All right. We need to decide what kind of a trader we are. Like for me, I'm a swing trader. I use daily charts. I can tell you emphatically, and every member here would let you know that I don't use intraday charts. I don't need intraday charts. I am extremely successful in my trading doing nothing more than watching a daily chart. I don't rush. I don't chase. As a matter of fact, I make trades come to me. And I do that by building a qualified watch list. So for me, a qualified watch list is I want a stock that's proving a trend. It's moving up. I just about went and broke in trading. And I was literally setting at my computer to start deleting out programs and quit. Okay? I was ready to leave. I was done. And I started looking at the indexes. And I couldn't believe these indexes had just gone up and up and up. And I sat there thinking, how in the world could I be losing money when the market is going up? Anybody ever felt that or asked yourself that question? The market's been going up now for about 5 years. Have you ever asked yourself that question? Yeah, Bob, I am recording it. How could I be losing money when the market's going up? And that's when I had a major aha moment, okay? It's one of those moments where I thought, oh, for crying out loud. And this hit me, and I repeat this all the time because it was such an important moment for me, that the easiest way to make money in the market is to find a stock. Dev is talking about a sector or something that is proving a trend. It's moving up. It's respecting trend. It's respecting support and resistance. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the details of support and resistance and trend and all of those things tonight, okay? What I'm working with here tonight is talking about building that consistency in. So I work from a list of qualified stocks. That list has to have stocks trending. I know those stocks are trending before they go into my list. I don't waste my time looking at a stock that doesn't fit my criteria. Okay? Berkshire Hathaway A stock is about $256,000 a share. I don't waste my time looking at stocks like that either. If there's stocks that are in the penny range, I don't waste my time with those. I immediately remove all of those from my list. So I sort them by price. I sort them by trend. I sort them by quality. And what do I mean by quality? I want to see a stock. How many of you have looked at a stock and you're looking at that chart and there's all kinds of wicks and tails and it's up and down and it's all over the place and you're trying to make some kind of a trade out of it? Whatever you want, Deb. I mean, whatever you want. You might be, you might feel comfortable in the $3 to $50 or $3 to $40 or $10 to $100. Whatever your range is, make sure it fits your account, that you can legitimately trade it. Don't waste time looking at stocks that you can't trade. Okay? We have to be efficient in our work. We have to be accountable to our business. Okay? So we must be efficient in our work. Okay? So, we're going to sort that list by a couple criteria. I do it by price and I do it by volume. I want to make sure stock has plenty of volume. If it's low volume, I don't trade it. Now, there's people out there that have a rule that said, because they've been burned so many times, if it's a biotech stock, they just don't put it in their list. They don't trade them. I don't want to look at them. I don't care how fast they're moving. I don't care what the stock looks like. I am not going to trade it because of the volatility that's in them, the danger that's inherent in a biotech. Okay. Now, Dev, I can tell you that I run scans all the time in a simple scan that just does price, volume, and I use volume of 1 million shares, and I am never short of trades. Never. I have always more potential trades than I could potentially put my money. I don't have enough money for them. So remember, what we're looking for is quality, not quantity. We want to find a stock that's respecting support and resistance. It's moving methodically. It has deliberate price action. If those things aren't there, don't waste your time. If you want to build consistency, and you seriously want to build consistency, if you want to see your win-loss ratio improve, this is a must-do. Because if you continuously chase around bad stocks and try to make trades out of them, guess what's going to happen? You know, a 50-50 win-loss ratio is a positive winning ratio as long as you control your losses. That can be a very profitable thing to do. But it only takes that one gamble, that one stupid stock, that one thing that puts you to the negative side. If you want to do it, if you're serious about doing this, you have to get comfortable with the idea of quality over quantity and stop thinking you've got to have 5,000 stocks to look at. That is wasting your time. To build consistency, we have a goal. That goal is achievable with very few quality stocks. Okay? We don't need to chase everything around to be successful. All right? So if quality is more important than quantity, why do we spend so much time chasing? Why do we spend so much time running scans for 14 different setups and 500 different indicators? Why do we do that? We got caught up in this whole thing that the market does to us, all of this emotion and all of these things. We hang all of this baggage around us. Okay? We hang all of this baggage on us, and all of a sudden we can't move. Anybody ever felt that, you know, that place in your trading where it's analysis paralysis? Your confidence is shot. You've got so many things you're trying to check against a trade, you can't trade. You need to lay all that stuff down and start fresh. Stay out of your head. I'm telling you, this was me, guys. I struggled. I fought the market. I made every stupid mistake in the book. When I got simple, when I stopped chasing, my trading changed. My life changed. And I know this sounds, oh, come on. Everybody else out there in the world's trying to sell me this package and that package and this thing and that thing. And this indicator is the greatest. And this black box is what you need. And, you know, hopefully you've proved to yourself by now that that is garbage. Real trading is discipline and accountability to a plan. A process of work that you stick to. Okay? And a set of rules that you're committed to. Good traders live by schedules and live by a plan. Okay? So we have to get you there if you want consistency. So now I'm going to tell a little story about my buddy here, Mike Peterson. Mike and I have been friends for quite a while. Now, Mike started trading in November. He started swing trading in November. Had never swung trade in his entire life. He'd worked in banking. He'd been an investor, but he'd never been a swing trader. In fact, it took him some practice trading ahead of this in November for him to really get comfortable with the idea of moving in and out of a trade. All right. Now, Mike started with a $20,000 account. His current account since November is over $27,000. Okay. And he took $4,000 out of that account just for fun money, just to kind of reward himself for what he's been doing. Took $4,000 out. Okay. Now, I meet with Mike once a month, and I hold him accountable to his trading. I hold him accountable to his trades, to his goals. We discuss his trades. We look over bad trades. We talk about ways to improve. He does rock. Okay? I mean, pat him on the back. I mean, he deserves the pat on the back because he's doing an incredible job. All right? Now, in May, I meet with him Thursday night to do his full review. I ran over to help him the other night with a couple things on his computer, and I looked over his stuff. In May, he did $2,700 in profits. Okay? Now, I know there's somebody out there thinking, now, wait a second. That's way more than 20% annual return. Yeah, that's a lot more. That's 10% in a month. Okay? But he still does this. And you guys, I know some of you in here probably think, I can't believe this. He still places his trades using only $600 to $800 in capital into each individual trade. I think last month he had 13 or 14 total trades. He's trading. He's busy. Okay? Now, the other thing that Mike will tell you is he doesn't run a single scan. In fact, I'm not really sure he knows how to run a scan. He uses TC2000 charts, but I don't think he runs a single scan. So how does Mike find his trades? Mike finds his trades right here in the trading room. He gets his trades from Rick, from me, from Ed, from Bob C., from other members of the room, and he runs his ideas across them before he makes a trade. We have great traders in this room. And he's learned that if he just follows what other people are showing him, if he just pays attention to what they're doing, not blindly follow, that's not what I'm talking about. He's working to learn the process. Okay? He's working to learn the process of trading. And every single day, he's putting stuff into the room. What do you guys think of this? What do you think of this? What do you think of this? In Right Way Options, he's a member of Right Way Options, and he trades mostly options. He's the one trader I can count on in the Right Way Options membership that says, Doug, could you take a look at this stock and this option? Is that a good, what do you think of that? He does that consistently, because he's working to learn the process. He's following along. He's listening to what everyone says, but he's applying his own knowledge, and he's gaining knowledge as he goes. Now, how many in this room that's listening right now would literally slobber over themselves with a $2,700 profit in a month? And I don't care if it's a $200,000 account. There's people out there with a lot bigger accounts that don't come even close to that. Okay? And the reason I'm telling you all of this is to prove for fact. Mike is here. You can ask him. He's never sent a text. I can vouch for that. He doesn't text. He's old school. And I'm that's what inspired me on this is he's old school. He holds to a set of rules and he sticks to a plan. Okay? And he's learned his limitations. He knows what he should do and what he shouldn't do. And he stays within this very tight framework. He's extremely simple in his trading. And I mean extremely simple in his trading. Yes, we were friends before RWO. We spent many a conversation over a meal on the subject. Had a good time together. Yeah, no text ever. I'm pretty sure that's the case. But my point is, simple works. Okay? Can you guys look at this and say, if I could do that with my account, it would be a game changer? What would that do to your confidence? Take the $4,000 in fund money out. What would it do to your confidence that think in 6 months you've gone from $20,000 to a $27,000 account? Being extremely simple, working for consistency. Okay? Now, one thing that Mike is extremely good at, is taking profits. He has learned the good habit of taking profits consistently. How many of you have ever been in a trade that you're up $200 or $300 and you see that $400, man, it's at $400. Sweet. And then you look back an hour later and it's at $350. And you wait because you've got 400 in mind. You want 400. Just get me back to 400. Please get me back to 400. The next time you look at it, okay, it's at 285. And you keep watching that until it goes to zero. Anybody ever had a trade like that you'd let go to zero or actually a loss? If you've traded very long, you've done that. Okay? Either if that's never happened to you, you've never traded, or you're lying to yourself. Okay? It happens. Happens to all of us. Well, what Mike is really good at, and I mean really good at, if that stock is moving up and he has a nice profit in it, he takes the profit. And the inspiration I kind of got from him for this class, the other night when I was sitting over there, he hands me his notebook. No joke, no computer, no spreadsheet. He writes it in a notebook. Now, we have Trader Vision 2020, and we're going to release version 2. Version 2 will have all of the bells and whistles where it will actually, okay, why not move the stop? Because the next day the stock can gap down, Dev. Wouldn't you rather have the profit in your account? Wouldn't you see what we're talking about? Working for a goal, working for consistency. Okay? And everybody's asked that question. Well, why can't I just cheat this a little bit? No. Do you want consistency or not? See, everybody says they want consistency, but they don't want to do the things that it takes to be consistent. We all want a home run, right? Who doesn't like a home run? We all want to hit home runs every time we trade. But guess what? That doesn't happen very often. Yeah, we all want more. You give me $100, I want 2. You give me 200, I want 5. Okay, it's the way it's natural in people. We all have that greed issue. Well, what Mike has done, I think is brilliant in its way. It's so simple that it makes sense. And I thought, whatever your goal is, take a piece of paper, notebook, put it on your trading desk. And at the beginning of every month, write down what's your goal for that month. What are you trying to achieve? Because if that's, and I want you to write it down in great big, I don't care if it's a red crayon, big at the top. Because as you're sitting there trading, I want you to look at that goal every day and all the time. And when you have money in trades, and that thing looks like it's going to start wiggling or coming down, or you're uncomfortable, take that profit. Because if you want to be consistently profit, if you want to build consistency, that requires you to take profits consistently. Always working to take money out of the market. Now think about how easy that idea is. Write that $1,000 down on there. And even if you have trader vision, I think this will help people. Okay? Because it keeps it right in front of you. That goal, if it's $300, that's the goal. Now, what are you going to do to achieve that goal? Do you have to race around and trade every trade to make that happen? No. You need to have good quality trades. You need to be disciplined to your rules. And when that money comes into the trade, you need to take it. Okay? We have a habit in hit run candlesticks and right way options, and that is Friday is profit day. Okay? If you're in trades that are profitable and we're heading into the weekend, how many of you understand that everybody sees this? Events happen over the weekend, things that we can't control, and the market gets affected by it. So we make a habit, hit and run candlesticks and right way options, to consistently, if we've got profits going into Friday, we're going to evaluate those trades and take at least some of them off or part of the trade off and put that money in the bank. We do it consistently. Now, I trade with targets. I scale out, and I sell stocks while they're moving up. And you can't believe the criticism I get from some people when they see when I do that. Stock's moving up, you sold it. Why did you sell it? Okay, we have a joke running around the room because people will ask that question, and so much of the time the answer is, Rick does this too. Well, there was 1,000 reasons I sold it. There was 550 reasons I sold it. Okay, I sell stocks while they're going up. And I'm proud of that because I take profits into strength. Okay? Exactly. Would you not take your paycheck? Think about this for a second. If you ever want to reach the place of being a full-time trader, everybody has a particular nut that they have to cover every month, right? You have bills. Everyone has that. We have so much we need to cover, so much we want to do. Okay? If you don't get into the habit right now of building consistency, you're never going to get there. If you always allow greed to prevent you from taking profits, you're never going to get consistent. Okay? So I sell stocks as they're going up a lot of time. Everybody in here seen me do that. Stock's moving up, it's gone up. In fact, if a stock gaps up, I didn't expect the gap, I close the trade. 99% of the time, I'm out. I take the money. Gaps are gifts. Rick says gaps are gifts all the time. Something I learned from him. And I take the profits. Okay? Let those buyers make you money. Let those folks chasing in at the end of that run be the ones that you're selling your stock to. Because that's what we're doing right now is if we're chasing around, guess who's selling it to us? How many of you have ever almost have the complex. You jump into a trade. In fact, how many of you would say, man, I have such a hard time getting into a trade because every time I pull the trigger, that's when the stock pulls back? Anybody ever feel that way? You know what's going on there? You're chasing the trade that's already moved. And it's the professional trader, the one that was on top of it. Yeah, you're the zero sum. That's right. They're the ones selling you their stock. They're taking profits while it's going up. Man, I tell you, Rick, I could have sworn somebody was watching me years ago. I mean, every time I pulled it was like instantaneous. The stock could pull back. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, over and over again. I would blame everybody else for that too, instead of realizing it was my problem, what I was doing. Okay. So if you want to get consistent in your trading, if you want to build that consistency, you need to get comfortable at taking profits. Now, when you do this on a notebook and it's right in front of you, you take a gain, I want you to subtract that from your goal. You take a loss, I want you to add that back to what you have to achieve. That right there is accountability. I can't let that go too far. I'll never make my 1,000 if I continue to take big losses. I have to cut that loss off. This is accountability. And it's staring you in the face right in front of your trading computer every single day. I have to achieve this. This is what I'm after. And you work toward that goal. Now, if you happen to achieve your goal in the first couple of weeks of the month, that doesn't mean you stop. You keep trading. Okay? Beat your goal. But I don't want you to take, if you happen to double your goal this month, I don't want you to put $2,000 on the next month's page. You're going to stick with your goal until you can prove to yourself you can do it consistently. Then you stretch. Then you go a little bit further. Then you reach out for just a little bit more. Okay? So, stop swinging for home runs. Take profits consistency and quality over quantity. Those are the things that are going to help you build consistency in your trading. It's not the chart. It's not the indicator. It's not the pattern. It's not the candlestick. Okay? Those are not the things that's going to build consistency in your trading. What's going to build consistency in your trading is your plan, your set of rules, your focus, your discipline, and your accountability to your plan. Okay? You need to always be doing reviews of your past trades. What mistake did I make? Did I make a mistake? Did I fail to follow my rules? So that you improve as a trader. Okay? Those are the reasons I was able to go from where I was to trading full-time for a living. Over 12 years, trading full-time for a living, putting 2 kids through college. Okay? Is because I got very simple and I got very strict in how I trade. I work for consistency. You'll see Rick often in a room. We have losses just like everybody else. I mean, Rick will admit, hey, I take big losses sometimes. So do I. But what you'll see him do almost every time, if he's forced to take a loss, he takes that loss. And then you'll see him take profits on a few trades to cover it. He blanks it out. He covers it. And then he starts again. And he moves on. Okay? Very, very simple. Now, I'm already out of time here, but just a couple more slides here. And then I've got a couple things where I know you didn't get all of the detail that you want here. I can't do it in 1 hour. All right. So I've got a couple ideas for you to help you with that. So manage. Discipline, accountability. You got to manage yourself. You have to manage your emotion. You have to manage your schedule. Do you guys know that every single day when I sit down on my computer, I have a plan, a schedule of what I need to do and get done every single day. I'm so detailed in that I write a morning note, and anybody can have this. I write a morning note with my action plan and how I want to approach the market for the day. I do that every single day. And then I also produce a video that I send out to anybody who wants it. Okay? Send out to anybody who wants it to help them plan their day. Okay? You don't just turn on the computer when the market opens and you're ready and think you're ready to trade. You're not. You need to prepare, and I am a big believer in preparation and management. So you need to plan your schedule. You need to have a schedule. Things that you do every single day. The schedule, your plan. What are you going to do? Okay? You need to manage your results. Okay? You need to, and what I mean by managing your results, you have to go back and you have to do reviews of losing trades. You have to look at those winning trades. You have to find out what's working for you and what's not. If you don't do that review, okay, you may as well pack up your tent and go home now, because it won't change. Your trading will not improve unless you are willing to change. If you are willing to make the improvements that you need to make to become profitable, you have to do that. It's not the fun part. In fact, 99% of trading is not the fun part. It's the work. That 4-letter word that no one wants to talk about. All of these things that we have to take care of. Okay? That is professional trading. And that is reaching consistency if you work that plan. Okay? So you have to manage your results. You have to manage your goals. Everybody's goals change. As you grow and as you improve as a trader, your goals are going to evolve and grow. So you need to be constantly evaluating those. Okay? Working through those issues. Figuring out what's working best and what's not. Okay? And adjusting and managing that. And you need to manage that trade plan. Markets change, right? Things happen. The market evolves. So sometimes you have to adjust your trading. You have to work with the market, not against it. Okay? Well, a big part of trading is the psychology of trading, Dev. Okay? And if you don't master these skills, you're going to be destined to that purgatory of struggle for forever. It's just as if, imagine, Dev, you work for my trading firm and I walked into your office tomorrow and I say, you know what, Dev, I'm going to have to make some cuts around here. I can't keep this up. Show me what you've been doing. Could you show me anything? Could you show me anything that you could prove that you've been working at all? See, most people I ask that question to, and I'm not picking on you, would say, not much. I got nothing here. Okay. When I walk in and talk to Mike Peterson, he hands me a notebook. Every trade. The ticker, the entry, the exit, the profit or loss. Every trade. He knows when he entered, when he got out. He knows why he got in and why he got out. He has a plan. Okay? So, remember that statement in that second slide? Don't mistake activity for achievement. Just because you're running around busy doesn't mean you're actually achieving anything. If you want achievement, you've got to go through some steps. You got to go through the labor, the work part, the part that's not fun, to get to that achievement. Okay? So I don't know if there's anyone here that doesn't know this. I'm just put this in here just in case you didn't. We have a phone app out. That phone app, if you go to your app store, search for HRC Trading, you can download it. It is free. Okay. And right here in this upper upper left hand corner, there's a little 3 bars right there. Just touch that with your finger. You don't have to be a member. A lot of people look at this and, well, you got to be a member to get to anything. No, if you click, just touch that right there. Okay, it opens up the sidebar menu. All right, and in that sidebar menu, you can reach Rick's note of the day, where he gives trade picks every single day. Okay, not just trade picks, but fully planned trades. Okay, free, gives it away every single day. Plus about 10 or 15 other trade ideas that you should be paying attention to. Okay, you can also get my morning note, my morning video right on the phone. Plus webinar replays and all kinds of stuff. There's lots of free stuff there. Please make use of that. If you have any interest in that, just go look for HRC Trading on your app store, and you'll be able to download that app for free. Okay, now the other idea I had for everyone, is I know we can't cover enough in these classes. Oh yeah, you can use a PC to go to the website and you can get all the same stuff, Eve. Yeah. Just go to hitrunCandlesticks.com. All the same stuff. With the phone app, all you're doing is accessing it. Accessing the website. So yes, you can just hitrunCandlesticks.com. Tons of free stuff. Okay? Also, my morning note and my morning video. If you go to my YouTube channel, it's Right Way Options. Just go to YouTube and search for Right Way Options and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Every time I post my morning note or I post anything else, you can have it. You get it, a notification that something is there, and feel free to just click that subscribe button and you'll get them every time I put them out. And I'm consistent with it. Every single day there's a video there. Okay, so you can follow me or subscribe to me there on YouTube. Now, the other thing that I'm doing, and this is where I'm trying to help people with a lot more information. Okay, so about once a week, I put together a video, a post, and right now I'm doing a series called Consistent Profits. And I'm showing how you can build consistent profits using a very simple plan. Now, each one of these videos are 20 some minutes long. Right now there's 4 in this series out there. Okay, if you go to the YouTube channel, that series is there and it's available for everyone. Every single week I plan to put another video on there, and I'm going to continue to build different series. Okay. Oh, thanks, Bobby. Cool. Thank you, guys. Thanks for the kind words. I do put a lot of work into them. I want them to be useful. I don't want to waste people's time. I want them to be useful to their trading. So feel free to go there, watch those videos at any time, because I know you just can't get enough information sometimes, and particularly in a class like this, they just go too long. So all of that is there and it's free to access. All right. So subscribe to me on YouTube and you'll get them in any time. Also, we're all over Facebook now. Rick and I resisted this like crazy. We didn't want to do this. It's not my favorite thing, but it's one of the things we have to do nowadays. Social media is not going away. So here's, you can search me on Facebook, Right Way Options, Twitter, Right Way Options. LinkedIn, you're going to have to look for Right Way Options. It's actually under account of Doug Campbell, but look for Right Way Options. You'll find me there. And I'm constantly posting stuff. Take care, Mike. Constantly posting stuff. So feel free to take advantage of any of that. And, hit the like button, comment button, follow button. Really appreciate it. So that is all I had for tonight. Is there any, I don't want to waste or take too much more time, but any quick questions that I can help you with before we go? I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. First, let me say thank you to everyone that's here tonight. I do appreciate it. And we truly, truly want to help you be a better trader. It's a passion of mine. It's a passion of Rick's, Steve's, Ed's. We really have a passion for helping people. We spend more time working with people than any other service that I know. So if you need some help, if you're struggling, if you want to get that problem solved, it can be done. Mike Peterson is proof of that. I had another coaching client here just recently, okay, worked with me individually, privately, okay? He had a win-loss ratio. He was only winning about 35% of his trades, okay? At the end, we spent a couple hours together, okay? His next month, what I'm trying to tell you is this doesn't take forever if you're committed and disciplined to follow a plan. His next month, his win-loss ratio was 67%. So anyone can do this. Trust me, if I can do this, anyone can. I am just a Nebraska farm boy, okay? A ground pounder from the military. If I can do this, anybody can. Trust me on that. But you have to have discipline. You have to have a plan. Okay? Thank you, Ed, for posting that link. Everyone, I want to thank you very much for being here tonight. And if there's anything that we can ever do for you, please check us out, www.hitandruncandlesticks.com. And drop us a note or visit us on social media. Rick is also all over Facebook and everything. Just look for hitandruncandlesticks.com or Rick Sadler, and we will be there. And love to answer your questions and see if there's anything that we can do to help. All right. Hey, everyone. Have a great evening. Thanks for coming. I do appreciate it. Take care. And I will talk to you all very, very soon.